Group Viborg is a tank group with, well, a lot of tanks. Recon is pretty par for the course. The infantry tab is rather lightweight with a lot of these Russian battle groups. You do have Sturmovikis, which is cool. Tanks has a little bit of everything that Russia has to offer. T-26s, T-34s, KV-1s, some Churchill Mark 4s, and even quite a few IS-2s. Support has that shitty Russian artillery tank from Rotor tanks, as well as a tank flamethrower thing. Anti-tanks alright, anti-air's standard. Artillery's rather nice with the Su-76s and 2 Andrusha cards. And for the air power, you got the Hurricanes, so you could recreate the Battle of Britain just 4 years later and with a snow camouflage. The 126 Gornostroki Corps is a mix of mountain as well as naval troops. You got a lot of infantry, artillery and airplanes, but everything else is pretty substandard. For Recon, you got this pathetic excuse of a tank, but by god, it's so cute. Look at it, it's like a pancake. You also have some pretty cool infantry options, such as mountain snipers, Russian naval infantry with a lot of SVTs, as well as pretty much a tank Desiniti squad, but in Recon form. Also, all of the Gorno or mounted infantry have the Raiders tag, meaning that they don't get debuffed when behind enemy lines. The infantry tab includes a lot of brand new Russian style infantry units. It's honestly really cool. We got small TP squad, a larger Sapri PPX-8 squad, a pretty hefty DP squad, a Mosin rifle spam, pretty much have the Machikis, a pretty hefty regular rifle close quarters squad, essentially guard DPs, but the best unit of all are these guys. That's Trove Tommy guns, and yes, they are literally Tommy guns. The tank tab is pretty pathetic, but hey, at least you can go fast. Support is pretty standard, but at least some of the guys have radar static. Anti-tank isn't too bad, thanks to the fact that you do have 2 cards of this too. Anti-air is very lightweight, including artillery, which is pretty lightweight with a lot of later artillery guns, but a rather hefty off-map artillery. And the air tab is lend-lease to hell. We got Bostons, we got Hurricanes, we got P-40 Kitty Hawks, and, you know, a Yak-3. The 358th Infantry Division is a pretty standard Russian infantry division with a rather standard loadout, pretty pathetic anti-air. Recon is a rather regular assortment of Russian recon units. Infantry is really just your standard strokey spam, but you do have these new flamethrower units which have a machine gun. I think also meant to have smoke grenade, but it's currently bugged in the beta version. Tank tab is rather pathetic. Port tab is pretty standard. Anti-tank tab isn't too bad for Russian Infantry Division, as you do have a bunch of ISU 122s, as well as the S model, which has a more updated, accurate gun. Once again, beta version, work in progress. Anti-air is almost non-existent. Artillery is pretty heavy duty. You got Katyushas, heavy mortars, 122s, 152s, as well as the German 210mm off-map artillery. Now, on the map. Air power is honestly not that bad. You got like L2s, Yaks, P39s with a new Ace unit, as well as some TU2s. 122nd Infantry is a German cross-Finnish infantry division, and hey, they got a lot of infantry. What a surprise. Some of their new Finnish units are pretty nuts. For example, this is a Trin sniper squad. Infantry is a mix of regular German infantry units such as grenadiers and pioneers, but you got a few of the Finnish troops mixed in. The Finns are rather interesting as they are usually smaller in size, but they got really cool weapon loadouts, such as an anti-tank rifle with satchel charges, anti-tank grenades and satchel charges, and these chaps here have Molotov cocktails and a lot of nasty close-range weaponry. I hope you like Stugs, because you're going to be living the Stug life. Support is not out bad. You do have access to some IG-33s as well as Stu-42s. The anti-tank is a little bit nutty. For example, you got a Trin anti-tank rifle team. You got your Panzer Shreks, you got your Marders, your Pak-40s, and then you got a Pak-43. A Pak-43 that shoots 10 rounds a minute. Anti-air is nothing really all that special. Artillery is rather nice, as you do have access to 105s and 150 mils. Anti-air power is your rather standard assortment of Stukas and fucking Rolfs. Finnish Panzer Division is a Panzer Division, and they have a lot of Panzers. The Recon tab is filled with such Panzers, like the T-38 and T-26. You got your trench sniper team, as well as what is essentially a Finnish spar troop. Surprise, surprise, there was actually some disheartened Finns, but yeah, pretty good disheartened troop because they got Molotovs. Jakaris are a closer range infantry unit, but they got some pretty nice kit. The Kavari are a bit more long range, regular. You got your AT teams, you got your Trin flamethrower teams, then you got your leaders. The tank tab is pretty similar to Korx's tank tab, with a lot of tank options and a lot of tank slots, so you do have to pay a little bit extra later on. You got such lovely units like the T-26s, T-28, Panzer IVs, KV-1Ss, T-3476s, Stugs, as well as some T-3485s. Support includes a rather iconic BT-42, as well as a single captured ISU. Anti-tank isn't really too crazy. Yes, you got the awesome AT rifle teams, but the main thing are the Pak-38s and Pak-40s. For anti-air, you got the Nimrod. Enough said. For artillery, you got access to 81mm mortars, 210mm off-map, or 150 mils. It's either very small or very heavy artillery. There's nothing in between. The air tab is also pretty similar to Korg, with a lot of cheap slots, but you also got a lot of cheap and not fantastic planes, such as the G50s, the B-29 Brewsters, Blenheims, Stukas, DO-17s, as well as another ace in a Messerschmitt 109. You do have access to the cluster bomb Stuka, which is pretty awesome. The Rima Rapana unit is an infantry division with a very hard to pronounce name. You have a lovely selection of recon style infantry, including some sissy infantry. Yes, a hard joke, sissy, but they're pretty well equipped, with an SVT sniper rifle team, as well as a rather nice CQC squad. Infantry has a lot of slots, but by God, you got a lot of options. You got a shit ton of Jakaris, but a metric fuck ton of Kivaris. Dudes that have my username. AT rifle team, if I can click him properly. The Pioneers. You got an anti-tank rifle team. You got the Trin flamethrower teams. As well as you got a pretty alright satchel charge team. So, once again, a lot of smaller teams, but you got a lot of grenades, which is cool. The tank tab really speaks for itself. The support tab also speaks for itself. The anti-tank tab is honestly not that great. Yes, you got a lot of very nice close range anti-tank units, but really your only long range option is a single Pak-38 card. Though you do get him in A phase with 2-star veterancy, which is pretty nice. And you get a lot of him. Anti-air's not too terrible, as you got Trin 20 mils as well as your regular Bofors. Artillery is not too bad, as you have a right assortment of guns. The air tab is all over the place. It looks like a pre-war air show, but hey, everything's only 1 point. You got I-53s, VLDs, MS-46s, Hawks, some Blenheims, some Ju-88s, some VL Muskis, if I'm even saying that correctly, as well as some PE-2s. So a rather wide selection of airplanes. Yes, there's a lot of fighters, but they're not the best fighters in the world, if we're being entirely honest here. Also 2 new incomes, which is pretty cool.